Take a moment. This is the first impression. There will be mistakes. There will be carrier mistakes. There will be client mistakes. And this means you have to advocate for your clients. This is going to be a great experience. All right, we're going to talk today all about examples of good customer service, especially in insurance. And I think so many agencies that I get the pleasure of meeting, I always ask, "Hey, how's your retention? How's your customer service?" And the answer is good. And I like to say to agencies that good may not be good enough today. We are in this industry the least convenient way to buy insurance. Now, I believe in my heart, and I know this to be true, we are the best. But in a world that is driven by convenience and ease of doing business, we are on the more difficult side. For example, if my account manager doesn't reach out to me, I don't know who to reach out to. Instead of emailing somebody or texting, I have to call. If in the world of person who is flying across the country, 8 to 5 or 9 to 5 or being closed at lunch, may be rather inconvenient for me to be able to do business with. What we want to make sure we're focused on is, do we know our customer and what's important to them? And then how do we deliver that wow customer experience? Now, you're going to see in our blog and our videos, like we're promoting our new course that's launching on October 15th, 2022, which is all about how to train your team to give wow customer service. I think everybody's heart is in the right place. There's just little polished up things that need to kind of clink through. I'm going to tell you a quick example. This past weekend, my husband had custom ordered a truck. Of course, everything with supply chain, it's insane. I think we ordered it in January. Lo and behold, it comes in August. Okay, well, we had been patient. Not wow customer service, right? Ford had been keeping us updated along the way, kind of, sort of, the dealership a little bit, but it was not very impressive. And I'm always kind of tuned in on this because that's one of the reasons I bought my car, which I'll tell you about in a second, because it's a great example of wow customer service. I'm honed in on this. We talked to the owner of the dealership's son. He's a friend of my husband's. It was okay. But the actual sales rep that came in was different. It stuck out immediately. He made sure that he used my name several times because it was kind of a day long transaction going back and forth. He always shook out his hand. He opened the car door for me. He came around with the table to hand me paperwork. It wasn't just here you go. He spent the time to get my husband's truck set up for him. I had an appointment I had to go to, so he'd delay getting all the paperwork signed and come back and all of it. He was a total gentleman. He's called us. How's the truck? Everything going well? Just a great experience of working with him. And it was the littlest things of I came back into the dealership after my appointment and he's like, "Hey, Kelly, Andrew's over there. Can I get you a cup of water?" Whatever it was. The littlest things stuck out. And I asked the owners of the dealership son, I said, where did you find him? And he came from fine dining. That is a strategy that just makes everything stick out. Your team needs training and a model for those little things. Remembering somebody's name, opening the door, coming around the table to get paperwork. Those are little things that stick out. Now, I mentioned how I bought my car. I love a good sales process. My last vehicle, I purchased a Mercedes SUV, went back and forth on the whole thing. I love a good negotiation. So you don't ever want to have to sell me a car. But I went to go deal with the financing of it. I walk out of the financing room. They had a red carpet rolled out. Everybody in the dealership was lying on the red carpet, clapping. And there was my car in the middle of the dealership with a red bow on it, just like the Christmas commercials. I was breathless because I had walked into the paperwork section 45 minutes ago and it was a normal agency. In 45 minutes, they transformed the whole thing to it. Now, I asked the dealership, I said, what's the deal with this? Like, tell me a little bit about why you do this. And he said, well, we looked and one, you had the most social media followers. And once a day, we do this big thing because you're going to post on Facebook and social media. And we're going to get a lot of good credibility from that because people don't always like buying cars. I was like, brilliant. Little things go a long way. Now, can you clear out your agency and put red bows on policies? Probably not, but it's examples of how other industries are doing this. We've created a whole course to help train your team on those little things that can go so far with the client. And I wanted to talk about some of my favorites today because I just feel like this little polish, this little polish. We spend so much time training on the management system and the carriers, and we forget the little polish that will go so long for your customers. I describe it in the course that we almost have a piggy bank, and we need to make deposits into the piggy bank so our customers have the feelings. They like us. They feel favorable towards us. They want to send their friends to us. They don't want to look if the rate goes up $50. You have a problem in your agency if people are calling in because rates are going up $50. That means that there's no loyalty. They don't see any value in doing business with you. And that is the core problem that we need to fix. One of the first things I think every agency needs to nail down is a memorable phone greeting. Now, again, we're a sales organization. We go ahead and work with agencies all the time. And when we call into a prospect agency and hear insurance, how can I direct your call? Literally, my team does like a little backflip because they're like, this agency needs our help. This is the first impression. This is for new business, your current customers. Most of your customers you're not speaking to all the time. You're speaking to once every 3 years. It is incredibly important that that feel like a warm, welcoming call. We're not an interruption. We're not an inconvenience. That when we call in as a client, we're the reason that they exist. We think positive and warm tone. Now, everybody thinks their tone is on point. Let me tell you something. Been listening to a ton of hours of recorded phone calls. I can tell you it's really easy to lose your tone. A million things are going on. You don't recognize it or realize it. So people think we do pretty good. We need to be consistent and almost perfect at that. We also need a consistent greeting. So if everybody's answering the phone differently, that's no good. We need to think about how do we present that. We like R2, which people think are cheesy and hokey, but I'm going to tell you, if you think either one of these are cheesy or hokey, ask yourself why. Do you think that they're cheesy and hokey because you don't think you can get your staff to say them? Or do you think that they're cheesy and hokey because you're a little burned out and you can't get your head into that idea of great customer service? So R2R, thank you for calling XYZ agency. How can I make this the best call of your day? That automatically takes the caller and says, oh, this is going to be a great experience. Or my other favorite, it's a great day at Agency Performance Partners. How can I help you? We got trained on this a million years ago, and it was a fireable offense at the last place I worked before I went up on my own if we answered the phone and we didn't say that. And the reason was the CEO is very passionate on the idea that you need to answer the phone with a smile. You cannot say it's a great day at with a frown on your face. It was our insurance policy that every phone call got answered professionally and with a smile on our face. That is huge. The other thing about the call transfer is it should be a warm transfer. People should not have to repeat themselves. And people, for the love of Pete, when somebody's transferring the call, don't take it out in the messenger. If you're at an agency, it's like, another call, can you put them in voicemail? Check yourself. You're not giving wow customer service there. You're being selfish and you're thinking about yourself, and you need to change your attitude on that. That is a big, big, big scenario. The next strategy I love is first call resolution. There's no reason we should go back and forth. In fact, we are launching a lot of agencies on our agency efficiency program, and we break up with notepads, and people are amazed, overwhelmed at first, and then amazed. It's like, whoa, I'm just going right in. I don't have to deal with messy handwriting. I've got everything right here. This is amazing. Why was I ever writing anything down? People jot stuff down. I didn't get this question. I carried my handwriting. I got to call the person back. No one wants that. No one wants extra steps in their day if we can avoid it. So the idea of first call resolution also means you can discuss any premium changes so that there's no surprises. This is why we have wow customer service. The pushback we always get is people want to be on the phone with us. Not if you sound terrible, and not if you're with awkward pauses and everything else. Use the time to build rapport with your clients. That's why we want first call resolution. More time with us, less time with our competition. Now, this next one I'm particularly fussy about just because I feel like, I don't know what happens to us in insurance. We get desensitized somewhere along the way, and it is not good, people. This is somebody calls in. I'll just use my experience recently of buying a new car. This was our first brand new car. We've never, ever invested in a new car, ever. So like, I'm not even sure I'll ever do it personally, but it was something my husband really wanted. What about celebrating life changes? So as opposed to, oh, you're buying a car. What's the year, make, model? You're buying a car. Awesome. What kind of car did you get? That is so exciting. Do you like it? What are you trading in? What kind of color is it? People get excited about it. No one cares about insurance. They care about the thing it's insuring. And so if somebody's buying a house, if somebody's buying investment property, somebody's buying equipment at their business, celebrate it with them. Take a moment to just embrace this as a big life change that we can all invest in and celebrate. I can't stand it when I hear year, make, model, VIN. It's like everybody else kissed the client's butt and you're not, and you're going to ask them for a couple $100 more premium because it's a newer vehicle. We can do better than that. The next one is not a customer service strategy that you might be thinking about, but it's so critical, which is clear documentation in your management system. Part of our role is the seamless handoff of clients. That client may not be your client next year. That client, the book might get shuffled around. You may go to a different department. You might be on vacation. You might be at lunch. Clear documentation is the cornerstone of customer service. A customer service fail we recently had was we were changing up our internet and we have the same provider at home as we did in our office. I won't use the company name, even though I want to. If you know me, you know I hate this company, but they do have the best product. So they shut down our home internet as opposed to the office internet. My whole home is a smart home, meaning the shades didn't work. Alexa powers a lot of stuff. And literally, we were going crazy because a couple times the smart home had just had some issues. So we didn't know if it was that. So it turns out that this company just shut down the wrong one. And they looked in and they didn't even have any documentation they said in their file of shutting anything down. That they literally showed no request for us to shut down, but yet they shut down my home internet. Go figure. That is frustrating. That is a small thing that everybody can deal with. It's clear notes and they should be real time, which is one reason why we really shy away from notepads. Customer service, you should be doing direct entry. That's how you give the wow customer service that we love to train agencies on. Another step is true gratitude, stopping. And even if it's once a day and saying, hey, I noticed you've had your policies with us for about 5 years. We really appreciate that. Huge. Gigantic. That is putting that deposit in the piggy bank for the day you might need to make a withdrawal when the rate goes up, when something happens, a carrier makes an issue, a claim's not covered the way people think it should be. If you stop and truly thank people, it opens up so much and you'll hear thank you in return. So part of our customer service training is thanking people just once a day, picking one person and stopping and saying thank you. Another strategy we teach is clients may like insurance, but they can't like you. I don't like going to the dentist. I don't like paying taxes. Like my dentist, like my accountant. You have to be thinking about ways when things are going to get messy. There will be mistakes. There will be carrier mistakes. There will be client mistakes. They can still like you, which means that you need to advocate for your clients and you need to keep them in the loop. And they can say, wow, I know the claim wasn't covered, but I really appreciate how you handled it. That is the strategy that we're looking for. Too often in customer service, we think we are the outcome. We are just middlemen and ladies. We don't control the rate. We don't control the claim being covered or not. We do control the coverages that we provide to clients, which is why we recommend on every service call we're using it as an opportunity for education. But you cannot just go in there and wing it. You have to be intentional on building those relationships. And this means you have to advocate for your clients. I tell the story in the blog of the blue Mustang. You can see my husband likes cars. He has a race car and it was being dropped from insurance. And all I got was an email saying, we're sorry, XYZ company is dropping you from their insurance. We have no other options. That's not something that should be in an email. That should be a phone call. And I called the agency and I'm like, dude, this is not great customer service. What's going on? They look into the management system and they had escalated this to the top under. They had really advocated for me. They didn't share that story with me. Clients only know what we tell them. We sometimes have to throw our own parade to make sure that they know. Which leads me to my last customer service strategy I want to give you guys today, which is we have to make recommendations and educate clients, whether that's discounts, other coverages, in premium increases and why, whether that's going ahead looking at deductibles. Every call, we should take a moment and educate somebody on something. Insurance is complicated and confusing, and an uneducated client makes our lives harder. I'm not saying that you need to go read them their policy. I'm saying on every call, say one thing. Hey, your carrier started offering service line protection, or hey, well, I have you. Why don't we take a quick look at your payroll, make sure it's in alignment so that we don't miss any audit issues coming up. I mean, just there's so many things that we could be doing on these calls. You have to make the decision as a customer service professional. Are you doing transactions or are you creating an experience? And for most of us, we get into transaction mode. Some of that has to do with just quantity of work. And we feel like we've got to crush down the work. That's the most important part. It takes only a few more moments to be that customer service professional. And that's what we really want to make sure that you're doing and you're focused on. Otherwise, all we're doing is being no different. People don't care about transactions. We're just making it about price. And that's the thing we're trying to stay away from. If you're interested in WOW customer service, polishing up your team skills, you can buy the course outright. You can subscribe to our school. We have virtual options and we have in-person options. And the first 5 people who sign up for a virtual or in-person option, working with a coach, we're actually giving you a crazy discount. So make sure to check out that landing page for more information. But I'm passionate about this because literally the smallest things that can make such a huge difference in your retention, make such a huge difference in your team's morale, in the Google reviews you get, the referrals that you get. And it's all things that we can control. This isn't pulling off massive, massive scenarios. This is the smallest things that will have a huge impact on your agency.